First time I went, I was kind of excited, proud that we had a school. Lamson was the newly built school for black children during that time. I went from first grade to eighth, and I finished eighth grade in 1966. And I remember going to lunch, having lunch, and I remember kids saying, what about bringing me something back? Could you bring me something back, you know? And to look back on it now, that was really hard, you know, to be sitting in school all day hungry. And you got to understand, back during those times and times before me, a lot of blacks weren't able to really get education. They had to work in the fields and that kind of thing, and they had to forego school. And, you know, it was just a good thing to be able to get educated back then. The teachers really worked with you. They showed concern for you, you know. They took you under their wings, and they acted pretty much as if you were their own. Well, I have Mr. Ernest Straughter, and I remember when he first came to Lamson, he was a young, you know, teacher. You know, they had little races, and he would run with the kids, and he just integrated himself, and he played with you and everything. And I developed a real close relationship with him. Growing up, we went fishing a lot. He loved the fishing. I loved to fish during that time. We used to go down to the Flint River, you know, and fish and that kind of thing. But I'll always remember him. I look at him as being my second father, really. And I think the motivation for a lot of those teachers that came up during that time was they had seen, you know, the conditions of people, and they wanted to make sure that we got the best of what they had to offer. It was their mission, you know. They wanted our generation to do better, wanted us to be more educated and you know, and do better in life. You know, we all played basketball down at the school. During that time, we were kind of adventurous. We would go in the woods, you know, and play, you know. We'd go in the woods and hunt for berries, and we just had a good time. We'd ride tree limbs down, you know. It was just an exciting time for us growing up, you know. Well, the best memory that I had was a play that they did down there. It was called The Devil's Funeral. We were all there in the auditorium, and the casket came in, and the play went forward. And at the very end of the play, they opened the casket, and everybody got in line to view the body. And once you went around, inside that casket, they had a mirror, and when you thought you were going to look at the devil, you would see yourself in the mirror, you know. I'll never forget that. I'll never forget that. The people that wanted us to go wanted us to represent the black race, the black community, you know. You all have the mental abilities and smarts, you can do it. And we were treated very vicious. Very, very vicious. I mean, we were, man. From the time we got on that bus, we were verbally harassed, we were physically harassed, and just taken advantage of. We were kind of shielded by our parents growing up, but once we went to high school, it was just like right there in your face, you know. I'll never forget when I went in the bathroom during, you know, class break, going to class, and I stopped in the bathroom, and I got ready to walk out, and when I pulled the door, this white guy slammed the door, pushed it real hard. And he told me, he said, "Nigga, we don't want you over here." So I pulled the door back, and I got ready to walk out. And this guy kicked me in my butt just as hard as he could. I took it, and I walked out. That's part of the black experience in this country. It ain't a black person I wouldn't say that hadn't been discriminated against for some reason or another. I mean, it's hard to wrap your hands around. Why would somebody just hate you for being a human being, basically, you know what I mean? Because those are some vivid memories in my mind growing up. You know, the poverty and the hardships that black people, our people, went through. Those things that we learned at Lamson from our teachers and our parents helped us survive what we went through. They taught you to still be strong and still keep a positive mental attitude and that you can overcome those things. And that's the legacy I think that Lamson instilled in us, because pretty much I feel that the ones that went to Lamson did better in life. Lamson-Richardson will always be remembered by the people that went there for the education that they gave us, for the sense of pride that they instilled in us, and the willingness to, through all odds, through all situations, you can persevere. As Maya Angelou says, and still I rise. And that's basically what Lamson meant to me.